ら、どうなんでしょうか。
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Personally, I don't condone what Will did. I don't condone any sort of violence, and I understand the general consensus about Will standing up for his wife, but at the same time, he could have reacted with more grace. If Will had stormed onto that stage and said, you know, all of you are aware that my wife Jada has struggled with alopecia over the years. At this moment, it is wrong to punch down at someone suffering from an autoimmune illness, and to do so deliberately is just cruel. Then dropped the microphone. See, for me, that would have been a class act. Now, as I said earlier, I don't subscribe and I don't condone Will's act, but I think in general we give too much credence to it. Let's not give too much credit here. I personally don't believe he was making a political statement, or he was being manly, or he was being this, or he was protecting the black woman. No, I believe that he had a human moment. At a point where someone was being disrespectful to his family member, at a time where someone was publicly shaming his wife, he took it to heart and decided to act on it, period. There is no political statement, there is no big conspiracy, no. What does concern me though is the fact that Will Smith is not just a man. Will Smith is a role model, a reference point to which a lot of young black people look up to. In this case, Will's intentions may have been honorable, right? Unfortunately, the intention doesn't often matter. What matters is the action. What matters is the impact on those actions, right? Those actions were live on national TV in front of a global audience. That kind of becomes the default role model without even him intending it to be. Now, as a mother to a black teenage son, I don't want my son watching that and thinking, well, when someone disrespects my woman or when someone disrespects my mom, it's okay to slap them in the face. That is not the message that I want him to take. That is not the message that I want him to absorb. At the end of the day, I understand that living with an autoimmune condition is hard, man. It is hard. I suffer from alopecia myself. I've got patches of baldness within my scalp. It's a hard situation and one that most people relate to. A shout out to everyone living with alopecia who's had to endure ignorant comments and insults every day. For the young black teenager watching this, for the young man or husband, black, white, green, looking at Will Smith as a hero right now, remember this. Inasmuch as I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, remember you are not the same level. The social frameworks in which Will operates is not the same as the one you operate. Will does not carry the same consequences of his actions that would apply for the rest or for the average black man across the world. So let's not glorify him in this moment. He is not the poster child for where we are trying to go to as a community. He is not the role model for the destination that we are trying to reach as black people. What happened at the Oscars will work against Will for the rest of his life. I know that in his career, he's worked so hard for this accolade. I know that in his career, he's worked so hard for an Oscar win, only to have that moment of triumph ruined by an uncalculated reaction. It doesn't actually matter where you stand, whether you believe that he was right or he was wrong. The fact remains that night was tainted. The history and the legacy of the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena, which was meant to be honored on that night, was overshadowed by the slappening that we are now talking about. Right now, go on any social media platform, it's in meltdown. Everybody is talking about the slap. So I'm saying, guys, let's bring it down a notch, right? Let's see where Will is coming from. Let's understand where Will is coming from, but not make him the hero, because we don't know that he's the hero right now. Violence is not the answer to anything. Violence should never be celebrated, elevated, or seen as the answer. violence should be condoned. Chris Rock is a comedian. Will Smith and Jada Smith have got to stop making content for comedians, have got to stop putting their lives out there and then complaining when that same material they put out there is used as content. I'm not saying what Chris did was right either. Chris knows that a line has been crossed. Chris Rock knows that he crossed the line. How do I know this? Chris had the opportunity to lay charges of physical assault against Will Smith, and he chose not to. Bro code. He knows he crossed the line. You don't make fun of another brother's wife. You just don't do that. That's the code. You can make fun of your wife. You cannot make fun of another brother's wife. Don't go there. Don't do that. Don't sleep with her either, August. Chris Rock had a job, right? He is paid to be a comedian. He is paid for satire. He is paid to make art out of life. He turned up and did his job, right? What happened afterwards is neither here nor there, but he turned up and he did what he was paid to do.